So what about your dad? What's the earliest thing you remember about him?
That's William. That's the son.
No, your dad.
My dad.
Yeah, Robert.
Was Robert, and William was his father.
Yeah. So what about Robert? Like when you were a kid, what do you remember about him?
I always remember he would stay up all night with his little typewriter writing stories. Every
Did you hear
night.
the clicking going on all night long?
Yeah, in the front room. But we had quite a life because either we were poor or we had money. When he wrote us a good story, we'd get a good money. But we lived in Brighton and Hove and Portslade, and when we couldn't pay the rent, we were thrown out. And one day we came, my mother and we were on the beach with Peggy and Michael to get away while my father, I don't know where he was. We came home and the old Jew had thrown all our furniture onto the street. We had nowhere to go. We didn't know where father was.
Why did he throw it on the street? Didn't you pay the rent or something?
We didn't pay the rent. They wouldn't let us in.
Oh.
So, and Michael was, John was a little baby, about 6 months old. So there we were in a taxi cab looking for somewhere to stay for the night. We drove around. We didn't know where Dad was. Eventually we got to some friends and they let us in for the night. And finally it was friends that knew Dad and they knew where he was in a pub somewhere. So he eventually came home and we found finally we had a good life because we bought a little house in Portslade and we lived there till my father died of cancer.
How did he get the opportunity to buy a house?
I have no idea how we got a house, and it was a lovely little house with a garden.
Must have had a good commission on something.
Something, I don't know. Anyway, when my father died, of course, Mother was destitute. She had no money, so we had to give the house up and move back to London with my Aunt Daisy and Mother, so they were happy. So,
so did she get any money from the house, or just...
I don't know. I don't even know if they'd paid anything off it.
No.
So, no, and then we went back to London.